Yo, 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 no maniacs. Welcome into another edition of Feed the Bears, where I feed the Bears. And who are the Bears? That's you. Feeding you guys with some really good content. It's going to keep coming throughout the entire offseason, man. We're going to try to really tear it up in this offseason where people think it's such a boring and down news cycle about news as far as the Chicago Bears go. I don't think so. I think if you find the right things to talk about, and hit the right points, I think you can create conversations, in and around what your team is doing. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do right now. And this is for two reasons. One, I had a couple of viewers and supporters that asked, give us some more detail about this new Oline coach, Dan Roushar, and what he's gonna bring to the table. And I said, okay, what can I do? And so basically what you see on the screen right now is the real true pedigree of Dan Roushar. He puts offensive linemen in the Pro Bowl. It's what he does. What he does. Every one of these guys you see on the screen are multimillionaires. They get paid. They get paid. And I can't tell you when the last time a Chicago Bear was put into the Pro Bowl from the offensive line. One guy comes to mind, and I don't know if that's even the right guy, and that's, maybe James Daniels. But it's been a very long time. It's been a very, very long time. And we really needed somebody with a pedigree and a proven track record to turn around and really get some, get the juice back going on the offensive line. Because if you want to really get after teams and do what you plan on doing in the run game, you better get an experienced, grizzled coach that knows what he's doing. And so this segment right here is going to get a little bit football-y and football nerdy, you know what I mean? So you guys forgive me for that, but I'm not going to get too much in detail. I'm going to break it down in the simplest forms. And I'll give you guys a graphic to kind of show you an illustration of what the base concept is of what Dan Roushar teaches, because he teaches a 6 to 7 hole wide zone concept. And what does that mean? 6 to 7 holes. I'll be able to break it down when I show you the graphic, but it's about, having 6 holes in order for the ball to be run through. 6 to 7 holes inside the center, outside the guards, outside the tackles. Those are the holes that you're trying to exploit. And so, before we get into all that, let me say this. I think we got lucky. And when I say lucky, I think we got extremely lucky because, it took a while for the offensive line coach to be secured. And what was going on, it appears to me, I did some homework. I did a bunch last night. In fact, I did a 1 hour. It was actually, you can Google or put in YouTube, Dan Roushar teaches clinic, and you will come up with some stuff that I've seen. It's about an hour-long video. I know everybody doesn't have the patience to sit and watch a boring X's and O's video from an offensive line coach. So I did it for you. Watched it all last night, and I came away with a really good idea of what this thing is going to look like. And so, yeah, again, before I get to that, let me explain how we ended up with Dan Roushar. We ended up with him. That guy did not want to leave New Orleans. And so, no, he was not still coaching the Saints. He was coaching down at Tulane, which is also in New Orleans. And so what happened was, that's been his residence for 13 plus odd years. And so he did not want to leave. And so I guess Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson came on so strong, and shout out to those two for securing the bag for him. And, Dan Roushar created a bidding war between, Tulane and Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson. And so basically he's just like, okay, I'm going to consider what you're talking about, but I'm going to give these guys a chance to match your offer. So he went to them and asked for a raise, and they kind of lowballed him. And so, fast forward to now, we end up with Dan Roushar, which we got extremely lucky to get. And I'm telling you, it was just another coach signing. It was just another coach signing until I went and did the real homework into why they brought this guy here and his whole pedigree. So the guys you see on the screen right now, and you guys forgive me, I'm reading through notes and stuff right here. The guys you see on the screen right now, give me a second to get my right notes up. These are guys that went to the Pro Bowl. So he had a run of starting around, I think, 2013 to 2022, where he put guys in the Pro Bowl 10 times. one or two of them multiple times. But you looking at guys on this image is Teron Armstead, left tackle. Andrew Speed was another tackle. Larry Walford, a guard. Max Unger and Ryan Ramczyk. These are the guys you're looking at on the screen. All of them Pro Bowlers. All of them get money multimillionaires. When you have this is one of those situations that kind of reminds me. I can't really think of a combination of offensive linemen. Like in the year 2013, I think was the year that they sent 4 offensive linemen, all 4 starters to the Pro Bowl. And the right tackle that didn't make the Pro Bowl, he was second team All-Pro. So what does that tell you? This guy knows what he's doing. This guy knows. I haven't seen that much of a dominant offensive line for a long time. I haven't heard of one for a long time. The one that comes to my mind is the 90s Cowboys with Jimmy Johnson. That's the only other team I can think of that could have the track record of saying we put 4 of our 5 offensive linemen in the Pro Bowl in 1 year. That's the kind of pedigree you're looking for. You're looking for somebody that really knows what they're doing and has the track record to prove it. And so let's get into the details of what he's looking for out of these guys. First thing that comes to mind, again, I said a 6-7 hole wide zone scheme concept. I'll get into a graphic for that to kind of explain that a little bit more. And so let me talk a little bit about pass protection and the kind of concept that I'm pretty sure they're going to run here. And so his concept that he teaches is an inside-out strategy. What does that mean? That means that you're gonna focus in on making sure there's no traffic coming out of the interior. And so you're trying to develop, you're trying to get pocket depth. You got to remember they were playing with a under 6 foot quarterback and Drew Brees at the time, and Caleb Williams is not much bigger, if he is at all, than Drew Brees. So what's going to be important is that they establish some pocket depth. The inside out technique is going to basically look like a bow and arrow shaped offensive line where you really focus on, taking care of your front first and then working your way outside. And so the idea is not that you don't pay attention to the edge rushers out there. The concept is to bow out the offensive line, create the pocket, give him depth. And so that if he's a heady quarterback, he's back there and his drops 3 to 5 steps or however long they are, he has the sense to step up into the sweet spot, right into the cushion, and that is the cup of the interior pocket, and throw the ball, deliver it. So that's the concept. They're going to make sure that the 3 tech and those guys are going to be neutralized in this concept because it's going to be a lot of combo blocking. And so that's one of the basic things that I could tell you about. Here's another thing that stuck out to me, in this little research is they're looking for a certain type of interior lineman, At the time when this team was totally dominant, every interior offensive lineman, that means from center to guard, average, they weighed at an average of 320 pounds. Really big, thick trunks on them. Powerful to move people type bodies. And so that concept right there it helps me be able to deliver better content to you guys because I know specifically what to be looking for now. You know what I mean? I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job of identifying some guys to kind of help that process along, but now I'm pretty sure where this is going. So they're looking for big, beefy, versatile. Now, I've got to emphasize that they're going to cross-train these guys in the interior to play guard and center. And so that's one of the key takeaways is they're looking for big guys. I personally think this is what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to definitely bring in 1 or 2 veterans, at least. When you got the only guy on your offensive line that's probably coming back and bona fide starter being Darnell Wright, the right tackle, you got some work to do. And so I'm one of the people who doesn't think that this can be redeemed in 1 year. I know we can go into the draft and get a couple guys. I know we can get into free agency and get a couple guys, but a couple of those guys are going to need to be really, really grizzled, experienced veterans that really know what they're doing and can help this process go along, kind of speed it up, or just kind of curve the process a little bit, bend the curve. And so that's what I think they're going to have to do because you're asking this guy to turn out a great offensive line in one offseason when you only got one probably one returning starter. That's almost impossible to do. So that's just something I would caution you guys, that don't think this thing is going to turn out to be, this special situation in 1 year. I don't think so, man. I think it's going to take time. And so let me get back to the 6-7 hole wide zone concept. The idea, you run that kind of concept basically when it's its most powerful. You're running it out of 12-13 formation, 12 or 13 personnel. But give me 1 second. I'll pull up this graphic. Give me 1 second. This is a very basic, I mean, like high school football basic concept that is true, but it's just, here we go. So what you're looking at on the screen is a basic wide zone concept. And that is, as you can see, number 4 is the tailback, number 1 is the quarterback, and it's a handoff. And so when he goes to the huddle and calls this out, what the offensive line hears first is ace right. And so that combination, that line formation set is going one way. It's going right. It's going right. And so they know what comes out of this combo. Ace right is going to have all kinds of little bells and whistles that goes to it. 46 stretch. And so here's what it looks like. You got the number 4, who's what the running back heard was 46. So the offensive line heard ace right. The running back heard 46 stretch. And so what it is the number 4 player, and that is the tailback, is aiming for the number 6 hole. And you can see, as you can see with the graphic here, the number 6 hole is right outside the right tackle, right inside the wide tight end. That's why. Why is the tight end that's lined up inside on that play. And so the idea is to stretch the defense and give them problems. It's a very, very simple concept. And I tell you a little quick story about, my freshman year. We was playing one of those mid-major schools called Appalachian State, early in the season. You get all those kinds of games early in the season. And, I'm going to tell y'all right now, they was wearing our asses out with this play right here. Why? Because we had young, inexperienced freshman linebackers. And so they just weren't disciplined enough. And every time this guy touched the ball, he was galloping for 6, 7, 8 yards a pop for the first half until we got calmed down in the second half. It was devastating, stretching your defense, man. This concept works. I don't care what level you're playing on. And so if you got young, inexperienced linebackers in the NFL, young rookies and things like that, they'll get eaten up and washed out in the sauce. The reach block concepts are going to just tear them apart. And so here, this is just basically, I didn't want to wear you guys out with too much detail. And I think this is about as simple an illustration as I can give you to the concept, the base concept that we're going to be running here in Chicago. And that's ace right 46 stretch. It's just a play to stretch out your defense, and you can basically a cutback run. And so that's part of the concept too. What they're going to be teaching is going to be a one cut and go type of offense. When they're running that ball, it's going to be one cut, go. There ain't going to be none of that juking around and, trying to make something happen individually. It's going to be one cut and find the hole that you're supposed to be looking for and get up in it fast. That's the concept. That is the concept. But let me give you a few more, little nuggets I wrote down. One of the other things that stuck out to me is he wants to minimize the communication between the offensive line. Okay, you might be like, what is that, no man? What are you talking about? Let me explain. If you think about some games that you watch, Bears games or whatever games you watch, pretty common you see when the offensive line comes to the line of scrimmage, you might see a whole lot of talking, heads moving back and forth along the offensive line, a lot of pointing this and that. And that is not the best sign in the world. Because if everybody's doing that, the communication is not where it needs to be. Number one. Number two, you're going to be probably slow off the ball. And that's disaster for your defense, for your offense. Because if you're not fast getting off the ball, that's going to create problems all game long. You got to be able to kind of, and this is important, that whoever they bring in, they hurry up and start getting some kind of, symmetry going on with Caleb Williams, because the really good offensive line are able to kind of preempt his cadence. So they know what's coming. They know the speed and the rhythm that is going to come out of his mouth, and they're able to get off the ball faster and attack the defense instead of the defense attacking the offensive line. When you start seeing that kind of thing happening on a regular basis, this line is definitely getting where it needs to be, but he definitely wants to minimize how much they're talking at the offensive lines. Dumb that way down so that the guys play faster and get off the ball quicker than the defense gets onto them. That's the concept. I got a couple more little nuggets to point out. Dan Roushar also teaches ISO is a very, I'm not going to get into all that. ISO is a very basic, offensive line play scheme. The other one that I think he's really strong at, and I think is going to be a mixture of wide zone and gap power type schemes. So the gap power type scheme, first, let me get to what the wide zone concept really focuses on as far as the defensive line goes before I get to, the gap zone, the gap power type stuff. So in wide zone, the idea is to attack, the dominant pass rusher. And so if you got a Myles Garrett on the other side of you that really, really is really devastating to your offense, what you want to do is attack them. And you attack them by running the ball directly at him. That's how you do it. You just design the concept to fire out right at him. It might be a one-on-one block. It might be a combo block to neutralize him. And so he's not wrecking your game. That's what the design is in wide zone concepts. In gap power concepts, the idea is it's about combination blocking, combo blocking. And that concept is about to really neutralize that really disruptive three tech, get him double team and get him washed out of the play. And you run the ball behind that. That's the basic fundamental differences between those two concepts. But I think we're going to be running a combination of both of them. Both of them are completely devastating when the line has symmetry. When the line has symmetry amongst each other, and when they have symmetry with the quarterback and his cadence. Remember, in pass pro, they're looking to create a pocket and, really provide inside coverage, inside out concepts to really neutralize the pass rush from the interior. And hopefully that quarterback steps up into the pocket. If the rusher, does a roundabout, pass rush to try to get to the quarterback, he knows to step up in the pocket into the sweet spot, deliver the ball. But those are the basic concepts. Let me make sure and look at my notes and make sure I'm not missing anything right quick. Let me see. All right, I mentioned one cut and go running back. Yeah, I think that's about it, man. I could carry on and talk about this a little bit more, but that's not, we'll do that some other time. And we're going to get up out of here. And this is what I believe to be probably one of the better, it is definitely one of the better pickups this offseason. But this is probably one of the smarter choices that I've seen the Bears make in a very long time. And, to get a grizzled veteran that has pedigree of putting guys in the Pro Bowl, having really good offensive lines, and just that proven record to me is everything. It's absolutely everything to me. And I'm over the moon that we were able to get this guy and secure this guy as our new offensive line coach. And the fact that he brought in a younger version of himself to kind of train this guy up. So when he steps away from this team, that guy, the second man up kind of mentality, the first man up, right? So, yeah, that's what I have on this, man. You guys leave me some comments in the comment section after the video. And if you haven't, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you, if you can and you're willing, man, become a member, man. Help us out. Help us pay some of these bills over here, man. You're really $4.99 a month is not a lot of money, for a lot of people, but I'm not counting your pockets, but I'm saying it could really help us out over here. It's a basic $5 fee at the end of the month to help us pay some bills, man. If you could become a member, hit the join button and join the channel. But with that being said, I got to get out of here and leave you guys with these famous words. I think I had too much coffee. If you could think it and you can see it, people, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Do not, and I repeat, do not be a prisoner of your own mind. But with that being said, I am